TAQ Capital. Technical analysis quickly.
This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Before taking any action based on the information provided on this channel, it is recommended that you seek the advice of a professional licensed financial advisor.
Let's do this.
Wow, that's a lot of activity on a morning I didn't have a chance to film. So sorry about that, guys. But welcome back to TAQ Capital, where I give you technical analysis without the hype, FUD, and hopium. And I try to do it quickly. So let's dive right into the chart so I can actually do it quickly. This is going to be on Ethereum and how it relates to Bitcoin, because they're correlated, because Bitcoin is king, as you well know. But this is the 4-hour on Ethereum, and the activity that took place last night begins here. After midnight, closer to 1 a.m., we had this tanking that took place right here. And if I zoom in on this spot, it's this candle right here. And this was 1 a.m. And then we kind of consolidated for a minute and then shot up. And the way that I was able to, well, in fairness, kind of see them both coming is what I'm going to walk you through today. And then I'm going to end it on what I see coming here in the short term. Let me walk you back to September 4th here at 10 a.m. We started to create this channel here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we had our breakdown. That is how I could see this coming, was because we had this line that was formed. And once we had our 2 points, 1, 2 here, yes, we had them on the top as well, but then this line can no longer move really, or it could drop down. For instance, this is no longer a hit, and then you have 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go back up and get a fourth. But that's not what happened here. And you can tell that's not what was going to happen because you're looking at the Ichimoku cloud and you've got these lines separating and all this space building. So you know we're going to be calling back down in here, and then we're going to be going down. We also know, because we had our first run, reset, second run, and then break down. We seldom have a third run. So looking at that, I could see this come. And then once this happened, I woke up this morning and took a peek, and we had an orange line forming like this. Right here. This line and this line. So we had this channel form, and it went 1, 2, what is it, 3, 4? I gotta zoom in on this. Okay, right here. It's 1, 2, 3, and then we just took off. So the fourth wasn't even a hesitation. It just blew out of it. And you could see that it was either going to be an up or a down. Now, I anticipated it more that it was going to be a down from this standpoint. Because if you zoom out and you look at this blue wedge, you've got a hit here, a hit there, a hit there, and at that point we had a hit there, and this had done its retracing and had made another run, fallen short, and we were coming down. So I know we're supposed to go down below this blue. We're supposed to break out of this green and break out of this blue. But that's not what happened. Because another thing that I was seeing was the 1609 figure I've got drawn in up here. And that was because of this. It's our 2 Fibonacci retracement tools here. We ran up so we could see that once we do a reset, our next run would take us to 1584. So we took off, and it did take us to 1584. So that was perfect. Then based on the retracement tool here, we're going to come back, and our next run is going to take us up here to 1609, and we took off, retraced, and went boom up to 1609. But we had already done 1 and 2, and 3s don't often happen. They happen, but they don't often happen. So the fact that we had gotten this 1 in, and then we got this 2 in, I wasn't sure if 3 was actually going to pan out. It was a definite possibility, and I saw it coming, and that's why I threw it up here. But I figured that now that we've got the blue wedge and we've got the green wedge, and the green wedge had a 1, 2, 3, at the time 4, failed to hit, down and out. I thought we were going to be coming down here. And then maybe we would just redraw this blue line, and then this would actually be part of a new wedge. So I was wrong at the split, but I called this as a possibility, and I called this as a possibility, and I called it to the frickin' penny. Really, I mean, 1609. We just hit it as we zoom in here. I mean, the exact figure we hit was 1610.45. So it looks like it wasn't either or. It wasn't down or up. It was up and then down. So now I think we're going down to this 1536 mark that I've got marked there. After the 1536 mark, we're going to be then taking off to that 1720 mark. That's my prediction anyway, so we'll see how that plays out. And after that, I'm going to zoom out to the 2 hour to show you this. This is the pink wedge, and this is where we get the 1720 figure from, because we had the 1 hit, 2 hit, and then the third hit currently is sitting down here, but we're going to move that, and then we're going up to the 1720 mark. So that's why this pink line isn't touching anything right now, because it's in anticipation of the next hit down. Because right now, the candles are going to go down, hit below that blue and green line right around here, and then that'll be our third hit on the pink wedge, and then we're going to go up to the 1720 mark, and then once we hit up here, then it's going to be down and out, and that'll complete the pink wedge. All these wedges will be completed. We'll have the green, the blue one will be set up because that's going to take us up through here. This blue line is a fib line. That's why it's solid and not dashed like these lines are. So to zoom in a little bit here, still on the 2 hour, we're going to come down here. We're going to clip this. And that's that spot on the pink. And then we're going to go up to 720. Okay, and if we look at Bitcoin, this candle right here, that one is the 1 a.m. meltdown that I pointed out on Ethereum. So this came down at 1 a.m. and then went into some sideways consolidation, broke down again, and then went up. So when Ethereum went up, Bitcoin went up. Or rather, I should say when Bitcoin went up, Ethereum went up. So I think that that third run we saw on Ethereum has more to do with what Bitcoin did than it was organic to Ethereum specifically. Though, again, to be fair, third runs do happen. It's just not nearly as common as some people make it out to be. So now we've got our first hit here, second hit here. We now have our third hit way over here, and we should be going up once this is completed, its reset down here, to the 21.2 area before we go down and out. That's my prediction on Bitcoin. But note, like I just drew this dashed orange line in here just to get an idea of what's sitting here right now versus, for instance, this yellow line that's drawn in anticipation of this being the fourth hit. So if we just pretend that this is the upper and the dashed orange is the upper and the yellow is the lower on this wedge, you've got 1, 2, you've got 3, and so this cannot be 4. So we're doing this right now, and then we're going to go up and hit a fourth. The only other possibility is that we're going to come down so far here that we're actually going to have to move this yellow line down like this and get our new fourth hit if it ends up hitting in here. Sorry, third hit. So 1, 2, 3 before we hit our 4. I don't like how all three of these are so close that you've got to zoom in like crazy. That leads me to believe that we could go a little bit lower over here. Plus, with the distance that Ethereum has to come down, there's a good shot or a good chance that Bitcoin is going to be doing the same thing alongside. Then we'll bottom out here and then go up from there. So, I'll keep you guys posted on this as well. Back to Ethereum for a moment. This is another reason this red Kijun line here on the 10 hour is another reason why I chose to believe that we were going to be going down out of that orange wedge instead of up. This is that orange wedge that I'm talking about right here. So when we came crashing down into it at 1 a.m. and we consolidated, I thought we might be going like bouncing and going down because we were going to go down and meet that 10-hour Kijun, which is down here at this 1536 mark. But because Bitcoin shot up, which is fine, we went way up here. And this is why you guys really shouldn't be using more than 20x leverage. But, that's just a recommendation by me. You guys can do whatever you want. And you can stay alive up here, and then when it comes down, you'll capture all the stuff that you saw coming. So instead of getting liquidated or losing money because there's unrealized losses at the time it's going up. As it flips back down and you start coming into profits again and you hit that mark and cash out, it's just like as if this never happened. So essentially you just wasted, like, if you want to view it this way, you just wasted like 15 hours doing nothing, and then it came down. Or another way to look at it is, I suppose, that you missed out on all these profits had you called it, and then you could have shorted it up here, and then when it came crashing down, you would have gained a heck of a lot more. But you can't call everything. You just can't. And especially when Bitcoin is king, and what the coin you're watching is doing is going to react on what Bitcoin's doing. So it's not even about just the charts on what you're looking at. So what's going on right now, as you can see, we peaked out, the mouth opened on the Kijin and on the Ichimoku cloud with the Kijin and the Tenkin. We sucked the candles back down in here. And now we're going to come down, probably find some support on this line, and then we're going to come crashing down and just work our way down probably to this green line will extend. We'll probably find some support there, and then we'll go down to the blue wedge and break out of that. So we'll be coming somewhere down below 1536. But if you're going to do an automatic sell, the 1536 you can count on, because again, if we jump back up to the 10 hour, the 1536 mark is right here, the Kijin. So short term, ride down to the Kijin and then reset and shoot back up to the 1720 mark. It's actually 351 right now. What happens here on the Kijin at 4 o'clock, because that's when the next one comes out, is going to be big. So I'm actually just going to wait, and when that hits, I'll talk about it. I just needed to jump in here and interrupt for a second because I forgot to come back to the 10 hour when it changed at 4 o'clock, but all it did is what the 9 hour was already doing, and the Tenkin just kicked over while the Kijin continued to go straight. And you'll see that here because I talk about the 9 hour specifically, but it's unfolding exactly as I predicted. I still stand behind my 1536 prediction. In the meantime, if you look at the Ichimoku cloud on some of the other time frames, you have the Tenkin coming up to meet the Kijin, which looks like it's going to break through and then go bullish as the Kijin hangs out over here. So this is more of a bullish sentiment when the Tenkin is above the Kijin. But it's only coming up this far because of all the bullish activity we've had here that we now need to reset from. So you shouldn't be fooled by this. You have to look at the wedges. You got to look at the totality of the circumstances. If you go to the 4 hour, same scenario. The Tenkin is coming up to meet the Kijin. The 3 hour, same thing. So it looks like we're going to break through on all these, the Tenkin over the Kijin. But it's not going to last, because if you jump up the time frames, here's the 11 hour time frame, which doesn't reset until 6 o'clock. So depending on what happens here at 4 o'clock on the 10 hour, like for instance, this could pop up indicating that this is no longer the floor. This is the floor. But even if it does, the 11 hour is still here at least until 6 o'clock. And then what's the 12 hour doing? The 12 hour has actually already come over and created this bullish sentiment. So now as this comes down to meet that 1536 mark, you might see something where the Tenkin drops down, possibly even further than that, and then it's going to be part of a swooping up as the Kijin continues to come forward and it brings it back up in. So this is only just one thing to look at. The bigger thing, more so, is about the space that's created in this area here, more than just the green being on top of the red or the red being on top of the green. For instance, I think it was the 3 hour, and I was making fun of like these crazy gang signs this was throwing up. They didn't make sense at the time, but I can't seem to find the exact place. No, unfortunately I can't find it. But what we had a situation where the Tenkin was up, and the Kijin, the red line was up, and it was all like flipped up like this, and the Tenkin was flipped down. So we'd created this huge mouth, and then the Tenkin pulled him up towards the Kijin that was way up here, and we clipped out on it. Yeah, I think it was the 3 hour. I'm going to have to do the replay. No, it was not the 3 hour. I have no idea where it went. But my point is when the Kijin is way up and the Tenkin is way down, and the Kijin's running away from the Tenkin and the Tenkin's running away from the Kijin, it's an unusual situation, but all it is a mouth. So if you view it that way, you're going to be going back up into the mouth because the candles were below. But here's our 9 hour, and the Kijin held strong when it updated at 2 p.m. And this is a candle that's going to start coming down again to this 1536 mark. that you can see here. That, whoops, that populated here, and this populated here. So they both came straight. And this is still a big space, which is calling these candles down into it. The 12-hour updates at 8 p.m. I would anticipate seeing this stand up while this continues to come forward, which is more of an action of pulling down. And you can see that exact thing happened on the 16-hour here. In fact, Tenkan is now acting as support, holding up the candle as it's retracing down into the mouth. So once the 8 o'clock mark happens, you're going to see this appear below it. The green will probably come over it, and now we're on the inside. And now it's going to work its way down from there and hit the 1536 mark. And this solid white line in the pink dashed wedge here is what I anticipate. I did that wedge, that was terrible, sorry. The trajectory to be. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down and out. So hang in there. I would put a, if you're not in a short, get in one now. Ride it down to 1536, and then switch to a long somewhere in there. We'll see it play out to where we know where the bottom is, and then we'll take back off here to the 1720, and then come back out. One thing to look for is this here, the 15-minute chart on the most recent meltdown. So this was 1 a.m., 1:15. It came down here and it bottomed out. We're way outside the Bollinger Band, okay? Just like we were way outside the Bollinger Band up here. So from here, we shot down violently. From here, being way outside, and not just outside, like say something like this. This is way outside. We shot up. Now this was, again, powered by Bitcoin. I firmly believe that. But we shot way up because we had to go up quickly and violently, really, with how much we went out here. Now, it's possible that we could have come up and just shot up like right here, just wicked right out of this tunnel, and this would cause an overcorrection for us to go with more downside, and that's what I expected. But what I'm saying is, when you're way out here, plan on being out over here. So you can at least ride this up to there. Now, you may, this 100x stuff you want to stay away from, because you may come down like this, come up for a second, crash down one more harder, and then come up. But I think when you're 3 candles outside. So that's the kind of stuff for these violent swings the opposite direction. See, way outside, popped out the bottom. Only slightly outside. We actually didn't even come out the bottom next. We went outside again. Then we came out the bottom here. And then we went way outside here and way outside here. It's not an exact science, no. But it's something to look for. But that's it for me today, guys. Sorry this one was late, and sorry it's long. Actually, it's over 17 minutes right now as I record this. But stand by for this to play out, and then I'll just evolve from there, I guess, and we'll see where we're headed. But remember, I have said that this line here, this is going to be part of a major meltdown. So you're going to want to be in a short up here around the 1720 mark. And I know that whenever we come down, it's zigzag. We come down, we go up for a minute. We come down, we go up for a minute. And you can do scalp trades and things on this sort of stuff and make more money there. But even just putting this, setting it and forgetting it up here, you know, you're going to know in 5-6 days where you're at. And if you're watching the videos on a regular, you're going to have my updates on, you know, when I'm getting out and so on and so forth. So thanks again for watching. Hope everyone had a great weekend out there and you're off to a great start. Some of you don't go back to work probably until tomorrow because of Labor Day weekend here in the United States. But I hope it's been an enjoyable one, and I will catch you in the next video.